tough guy Mike Tyson comes out when it's not necessary to come out, I'm always in handcuffs. And it's unfortunately I have to fight and beat it.
Mike Tyson has recently made headlines for smacking down Jake Paul in a way that no one could forget, even amidst the chaos surrounding their fight preparation. Let's face it, the hype of Tyson versus Jake has been waning, almost fading away faster than Jake's latest victory lap. With delays and Jake throwing around accusations of bribery, steroid use, and even rumors of canceling the bout entirely, many fans are left wondering how much longer this circus can go on before it collapses under its own weight. But then, out of nowhere, Tyson, one of the greatest boxers of all time, decides to step back into the ring. It's a move that has drawn both excitement and skepticism from the boxing community. Jake Paul's antics have been exhausting, making it seem as if he wakes up every day asking himself, "How can I be extra today?" Yet, no one is on Mike Tyson's level. There's a part of me that thinks, Tyson, you've got nothing to prove, focus on your health, and forget about this YouTube boxer's daily drama. However, if someone challenged your skills, dignity, and experience, wouldn't you want to set the record straight? Tyson is definitely not the type to remain silent while a provocateur like Jake Paul pulls his usual stunts. It's important to remember that Jake initially begged for this fight, and now he seems to be dabbling in the murky waters of strategic cheating. Classic Jake. Rewind to when we first encountered Mike Tyson, the fierce beast in the ring who didn't just beat his opponents, but took names and crushed souls. Tyson hung up his gloves after his match with Kevin McBride in 2005, but it wasn't the spectacular exit we all imagined. At 38, Tyson's ferocity had dimmed, and that final fight was far from the grand finale we envisioned for a legend. Fast forward to 2020, when Tyson decided to don those iconic gloves once more for a charity exhibition against Roy Jones Jr., if you ask Joe Rogan, the entire spectacle was questionable. He hinted that they made an agreement not to target each other's heads during the fight. I mean, if you watch it closely, it does seem like Tyson was intentionally avoiding Roy's head, which explains why Roy even agreed to the match in the first place. At 55, Tyson still had moves that made us nostalgic for the golden age of boxing. Then there's Jake Paul, our favorite internet provocateur. Don't get mad, that was intended to be a pun. Jake's been busy making waves, but not because he's out there knocking out pro boxers. Instead, he's busy punching his way through internet fame, trash-talking like he's got a quota to fill. His journey from YouTube star to boxer has been one wild and controversial ride, with victories mostly against other influencers or retired athletes. While he may not be the most credible boxer, you've got to admit his antics are entertaining. Jake brushes off constant accusations like water off a duck's back, deflecting with ease and acting as if none of it phases him. But here's the kicker. Mike Tyson knows Jake has a less than stellar reputation. Why step into the ring with him? Tyson's decision wasn't solely about proving he could take on a younger fighter, it was about reminding everyone what boxing is truly about: skill, not just YouTube hype and drama. Jake Paul's hype machine has been running in overdrive. He calls himself the future of boxing, even claiming he'll retire the legendary Iron Mike Tyson for good. That's like a toddler running up to a battle-hardened superhero with a stick, declaring war. The collective eye roll from the boxing community was palpable. Some were chuckling, others shaking their heads, while most grabbed popcorn, waiting to see if Jake could back up his bravado or if this was just another episode of Jake Paul, internet trash talker. But it's not just about Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul anymore. Now the focus shifts to the integrity of the sport itself. Jake's reputation took a nosedive. The guy who was once flying high now had a massive question mark looming over his head. Known for his relentless trash talk, Jake suddenly found himself backpedaling hard. He dismissed Tyson's accusations as baseless, playing the victim card, but by then the damage was already done. Tyson's words carried weight, and the boxing world wasn't rushing to Jake's defense. Instead, everyone looked at him sideways, wondering if all that muscle and stamina had a little extra help behind it. Let's be real. The issue of steroids and performance-enhancing drugs isn't new, but it's infuriating for those who train hard without shortcuts. Imagine busting your tail in the gym day in and day out, sweating buckets the old-school way, only to find out your opponent has been juicing up. It feels like playing a fair game while they bring cheat codes. It's frustrating, to say the least. One of the biggest moments in this saga was when Tyson appeared on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast on July 28, 2024. True to form, Tyson didn't hold back, he spilled some wild beans. In his candid fashion, he admitted to using DMT. Yep, you heard that right, as part of his training regimen. For those who aren't in the know, DMT isn't your typical pre-workout supplement. When I say psychedelic, I mean it'll have you seeing galaxies, hearing colors, and probably questioning the meaning of life itself. But Tyson didn't turn to DMT for a quick boost in the ring. No, this was about something deeper, reconnecting with himself, shedding mental baggage, and dropping the weight literally. Tyson talked about using the venom from the Colorado River toad, calling it his natural psychedelic therapy. This isn't just some fitness gimmick, it's Tyson on a spiritual journey, getting fit in a way that would probably make your yoga teacher jealous. On the other hand, Jake Paul was mired in a cloud of steroid allegations. It's not just a clash of boxing styles, it's a full-on clash of ethics. Tyson was focused on clean, natural prep, while Jake was left scrambling to shake off some very shady allegations. Remember when Mike was all about eating raw meat? Seriously, he was into that, but it was about more than just diet, it was about getting back to basics. So how did Jake respond to all this? Predictably, he went full defensive mode, jumping onto social media to label the accusations a smear campaign. He painted himself as the underdog, unfairly targeted by a boxing legend. "I'm just out here working hard, trying to make my mark, and Tyson's trying to sabotage me," he lamented. The irony? He even cried about it. Jake's defensive reactions and emotional outbursts did little to change the perception that had already been established. The boxing world watched as Jake Paul's bravado met Mike Tyson's undeniable legacy, leaving many to question the authenticity of Jake's claims. It's not just about who's the better fighter, it's about who embodies the true spirit of boxing. Tyson represents the grit and skill that made boxing what it is, while Jake embodies a new, controversial wave that many still regard with skepticism. This clash has significant implications for the sport itself. As the lines between traditional boxing and modern-day internet fame continue to blur, fans and purists alike are left wondering where boxing will go from here. While Jake tries to reclaim his narrative, he faces an uphill battle. The skepticism surrounding his image isn't going anywhere, and the scrutiny over his training methods has intensified. As the boxing community awaits the next moves from both fighters, the pressure on Jake Paul continues to mount. It's a fascinating narrative unfolding in real time where tradition meets innovation and ethics face off against the thirst for fame. What will happen next? Will Tyson continue to assert his dominance, reminding everyone of the sport's roots, or will Jake manage to find a way to reclaim the narrative? The stakes are high, and the boxing world is watching closely. It's a battle not just of fists, but of legacies, ethics, and the very soul of boxing. As this drama unfolds, boxing fans are left hanging on every word, every accusation, and every moment of confrontation.